Will you help me?
We're not safe here.
Someone turned their trackers off.
How you don't know anything about this?
What did you do?
What is up, everybody? Jeremy Eisenfire here, and welcome to the channel. With episode 6 of Alien Earth in the books, we now take a look ahead at the last 2 episodes of Season 1. And with tensions continuing to rise between Weyland-Yutani and Prodigy, it appears that an inevitable clash is on the horizon, including the main henchmen of the respective companies, Kirsch and Morrow, as episode 6 heavily foreshadows a showdown between these two characters. And with Wendy beginning to see the more nefarious side of Prodigy, what exactly will her next move be as well? And taking a look ahead at the episode 7 trailer, it appears that many storylines are beginning to merge as we draw closer to the season finale. The episode 7 trailer starts off with a scene between Slightly and Smee, as Slightly has seemingly asked Smee for help to smuggle Arthur's body out of Neverland, as we see a shot of Arthur's body with the facehugger still attached.
Will you help me?
And with Slightly and Smee being seemingly closer than any of the other hybrids, I suppose it makes sense that Slightly would go to him for help. Begging the question, just how exactly are they going to manage to sneak Arthur's body out of the compound undetected? And based on a few shots later in the trailer, we might potentially have our answer. But next, the trailer continues with dialogue from Wendy, stating to the hybrids that it's time for them to go, and that they're not safe there anymore, and perhaps they never were.
We have to go. We're not safe here. I don't think we ever were.
And at this point, with Toodles unfortunately deceased, and with Slightly and Smee most likely already on their own mission trying to get Arthur's body off the island, it appears that Wendy is only left with Nibs and Curly. Begging the question, will she be able to convince them to leave, and convince them that Prodigy doesn't have their best interest at heart? After all, Wendy has finally been waking up as to the true nature of Boy and Prodigy, and what the hybrids really mean to the company, and how she's starting to feel that maybe they're not so special after all, just seemingly another experiment. And I definitely get the feeling that she's going to have a much easier time convincing Nibs to leave than she will Curly. After all, we've seen from previous episodes that Curly is incredibly dedicated to Boy and to Prodigy, and is doing everything she can to become Boy's new favorite, making me believe that Wendy's going to have a very tough time convincing Curly of Boy's nefarious nature. If anything, I imagine Curly is going to be all too happy to see Wendy and the other hybrids leave. After all, with Wendy gone, it all but eliminates any competition she had to be Boy's favorite. Nibs, on the other hand, I get the feeling Wendy will have a little bit of an easier time convincing, especially if she manages to fill her in on how Prodigy erased a good portion of her memories. And while on the subject of Nibs, I suppose another question is she okay? Was the memory wipe enough to fix what was damaged inside of her? Or are her problems a little more deep-rooted than a simple memory wipe? After all, we did learn that Nibs had an incredibly traumatic past before she became a hybrid. Begging the question, was it this early trauma that caused her problems to begin with? And if so, could they potentially arise yet again? And during Wendy's dialogue, we get a few interesting shots of episode 7 as well. First, we see a shot of a few soldiers arriving on the island, which could potentially belong to Weyland-Yutani. Maybe they have indeed come for their specimens after all. Or is this simply a small team of soldiers meant to go in and extract Arthur's body? As we then see a shot of Wendy looking at some kind of screen, and based on the end of episode 6, we know that Arthur not only disabled the hybrid's trackers, but also seemingly gave Joe some kind of code to help them escape. As we see another shot of what appears to be the soldiers entering a building, followed by a shot of Kirsch returning to the lab. And one thing that has been very interesting about Kirsch throughout the season is how he seemingly is playing certain things very close to the chest, and isn't informing Boy of everything that's happening. After all, we've seen that Kirsch has been monitoring the communications between Slightly and Morrow, yet seemingly isn't doing anything to stop it, nor is he informing Boyd of what he's doing. Begging the question, does Kirsch have some kind of hidden agenda of his own? And as we saw in episode 6, Kirsch even appears to be keeping not only what happened to Arthur a secret, but also Toodles' death potentially as well. Although I imagine he's not going to be able to keep this quiet for very long. making me wonder just what exactly is his next move going to be. But next, the trailer continues with a shot of Kirsch informing Boy that the trackers for the hybrids have been disabled, followed by a quick shot of Slightly and Smee sneaking out Arthur's body on some sort of raft. As we then see a shot of Boy confronting Dr. Dame, wondering if she knew what her husband did.
Someone turned their trackers off.
So you tell me how you don't know anything about this.
At some point, it appears that Kirsch and Boy must discover that it was Arthur himself who disabled the trackers, likely making Boy wonder if she was in on it. And with Slightly and Smee seemingly successfully getting Arthur's body at least outside of the compound, what exactly is their next move going to be? And are the soldiers that we saw in the trailer indeed meant to meet up with them to retrieve Arthur's body? As next, the trailer continues with a shot of the soldiers seemingly carrying something through the water, followed by a shot of Smee on the beach as we see someone's body being dragged off screen, followed by a quick shot of Joe, Wendy, and Nibs leaving the compound, as the trailer then ends with a shot of Wendy screaming, "What did you do?"
What did you do?
And taking a closer look at these soldiers, it appears that they are wading through the water with some kind of container or coffin-like structure, which could potentially be what they put Arthur's body in after retrieving it from Smee and Slightly. After all, Weyland-Yutani does know that there will be a xenomorph emerging from Arthur at some point, so if they are retrieving his body, it makes sense that they would put him in some kind of housing, or maybe even in some kind of cryotube. We also get this interesting shot of what appears to be Smee on the beach, with somebody's body being dragged off camera. And thanks to another shot from a previous trailer showing Smee on the beach with some kind of body laying behind him, I think it's pretty safe to assume that this is most likely Arthur being retrieved by Weyland-Yutani. But next we get the interesting shot of Joe, Wendy, and Nibs seemingly leaving the compound. It appears that Wendy was only successful in convincing Nibs to come with her. And with Curly's obsession with becoming Boy's favorite, it makes sense that she didn't want to come along. And I have to imagine that Curly is going to run straight to Boy after Wendy leaves to tell him exactly what she did and where she's going. As the trailer then ends on a shot of Wendy letting out a massive scream asking, "What are you doing?" begging the question, just who exactly is she yelling at in this scene? Could it potentially be Nibs, as she maybe had another break with reality and did something drastic? Or could she potentially have run into Slightly and Smee in the jungle and figured out what they did to Arthur? Or could it be something else entirely? After all, when looking at some of the other trailers for Alien Earth, there are a few interesting shots that could be taking place in this same scene. One of Wendy, Nibs, and Joe in the jungle turning around and looking at something behind them, followed by a shot of what appears to be a xenomorph in the same jungle, as we see a shot of what looks like the xenomorph attacking someone with Wendy and Joe watching. And judging by the appearance of the victim, it looks like it could potentially be one of the Weyland-Yutani soldiers that gets attacked. But overall, it certainly seems that things are really beginning to heat up as we enter the final 2 episodes. And based on the Episode 7 trailer, it definitely seems that we have a very interesting penultimate episode to look forward to next week, as many of our storylines begin to come to a head. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing how the rest of it plays out. But that is going to do it for our breakdown for the Episode 7 trailer for Alien Earth, entitled Emergence. And definitely leave some of your thoughts and predictions for Episode 7 down below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like on your way out and consider subscribing to stay up to date on all of our upcoming Alien content. And don't forget to come and join us every Tuesday night for our live after-show discussion. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody out there for watching, and a huge thank you to all the channel members, and we will see you on the next one.
Will you help me?
We're not safe here. I don't think we ever were. What did you do?